live from New York City at Sac Life. Beat Depression, day 734, and we're back for more with another round, a somatic healing session to wipe out depression. Thank you guys so much, everybody who's here now, anyone who's tuning in later. Appreciate you guys and girls out there for supporting the cause. Apologize for being a couple minutes late, but I did make it here in one piece. So that's where my first gratitude's going. Gratitude for being alive, for making it here in one piece on that mini bike. It was an epic adventure, and I got some good footage on the way over, so I'll share that with you guys a little bit later. I'm going to be able to make it to the magical performance of Y&I tonight at Rockwood Music Hall. So if you're out here in the New York City area, come check it out. It's going to be a crazy show. Want to shoot out gratitude to those guys as well for supporting our cause and for supporting us all across that journey, even before Sac Life started. They're awesome people. Also, gratitude going out to Lisa Luminary for being here, for sharing that progress. Thank you, appreciate you. And I am parked on Forsyth Street today, so to remind myself, I'm going to add Brian T. Forsyth, in a bit, Brian T. Forsyth into that gratitude section and let him know that I'm grateful to him too. He's the Beat Depression coach out there. Check him out on his page. He wrote a book on how to overcome depression and how to check in on yourself and see where you're feeling, because there is a spectrum there. There is a scale, and it's something that we all deal with as human beings. Also, shout out to Gabe C. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the cause. And that's where all my gratitude's going today. So that's the first powerful mental health tool, that gratitude tool. The second tool we're going to talk about is keeping track of your progress out there. Yeah, it's forwards on the thing, you know? Oh. Camera reverses it. Oh, okay. It's all good. So keeping track of that number of days that you show up for yourself. It's been 734 days of consecutive training for me, Sacman. Let me know how many days it's been for you, and make sure that you are keeping track of that number, because the more you keep track of it, the more powerful it can become in your life, and it can help remind you of what you're capable of under any circumstances, right? Especially if you're dealing with mental health issues like depression or anxiety. They are killers. They kill without discrimination. So every day you stay alive and fight forwards, especially a day that you accomplish a goal that builds you up mentally and physically, is a day to be proud of. It's a day to give yourself credit for, and it really is an accurate mark of strength and endurance. So please do give yourself credit for that. Make sure you're keeping track of that number. It makes it easier to do. And sharing that number can help inspire others to make progress as well. So please do share that number if you're out there crushing it. That being said, we covered gratitude, we covered our progress tracking tool. Shout out to Brett, aka Soul. Thank you for being here as well. And to Luca, my buddy Luca, coming in from Canada, 8 years old. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up and sharing in that progress as well. Today is, what is it, Friday? It's Friday. So we're going to have our standard rounds, 3 rounds, 3 minutes each, 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath and drink some water. And one of the reasons I was slightly late today is because I did get water. So life-saving, super important. Make sure you're staying hydrated out there, especially if you are challenging yourself. And don't push too hard. Watch out for those signs of overreaching. Nauseousness, dizziness, lightheadedness, spots in your vision. Those are all signs that you're overreaching. You want to dial that intensity back. And is your number 134? No, my number is 734. It's been 2 years of progress out here. Consecutive progress, no days off, punching through sickness and health, punching through COVID, punching through riots and hurricanes and storms. It's been a wild ride. No end in sight. And a cool thing about that number is that it doesn't only let you know what you can accomplish, what you have accomplished, but it lets you know what you can look forward to accomplishing in the future. So I know for at least the next 734 days, nothing is going to stop. That's why that number is another reason why that number is so important. So that being said, back on track. Covered gratitude, covered progress tracking tool. Let's also talk about the rounds today. Let's get into it. We're going to be doing 3-minute rounds, 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath, drink some water, check in on you, make sure you're not pushing too hard. And no tunes today, because I couldn't fit that sweet boombox on the bike yet. We'll figure out how to do that in the near future. But I'm coming at you live from a new brick wall in New York City. So we'll have the tunes of life. We'll have the soundtrack of life going behind us, nature, people, whistles, sirens, probably, who knows? Anything could happen, right? And anything could happen when we're live. So, that being said, let's cover the lesson. Today we're going to cover a couple of kicks as well. We're going to talk about the roundhouse kick. Yesterday we practiced that teep kick, right? Straight teep, the rear teep, straight to the chest. Today we're going to talk about a roundhouse kick. So from Muay Thai position, and remember on sacramentoofficial.com, bottom of the free martial arts for mental health class section, you can find the stance guides so you can be fully prepared for every stance that we take in this class. Mostly we're focusing in on Muay Thai. So from our balanced Muay Thai stance, nice and squared, we want to visualize that opponent in front of us, kind of draw a straight line down from their head, center line, right? That's our center line. Our head's on that center line, their head's on that center line. And then we're evenly spaced across. Feet balanced, evenly spaced across, knees bent so the weight's on the balls of the feet. We're going to shift that weight from the front foot to the back foot, guard high by the brow line, close the fingers, tuck the thumbs, tuck the chin, roll those shoulders, curl those hips, bam, and you're in your Muay Thai position. From here, we practice that teep kick. We're going to add that teep kick in today as well. It'll be good training for the 10 kick challenge if you are participating in that. Shout out, gratitude to Century Martial Arts for helping fight pediatric cancer and raise awareness to pediatric cancer out there. If you are doing the 10 kick challenge, we'll cover some new ones today. We're going to cover that roundhouse kick that we didn't get to go over yesterday. So we'll use the teep kick in our training as we flow through. We'll use jabs and cross down that center line, keeping those fundamentals going. But we're also going to talk about that roundhouse kick, and we're going to work that roundhouse kick into today's session. So from our balanced Muay Thai stance, what we want to do is think of ourselves on railroad tracks. 2 lines under each feet, going straight under our opponent's feet. And that's where we are. We're shifting our weight forwards and backwards, but we're staying centered, we're staying balanced, squared hips, squared shoulders on those railroad tracks. Now when it's time to launch a roundhouse kick, what we want to do is step that lead foot off the track onto the ball of the foot. That's your anchor, that's your pivot point. And then we're going to toss that rear foot over. We're going to toss that hip over as we twist through and send that leg straight through, right on a horizontal plane through our enemy. So what we're going to do here, we're going to step off that front line on the front foot. That's our pivot point, right? We're going to reach across the face of that opponent, chopping the arm in the opposite direction of the leg. We're going to toss that leg over, making sure to rotate that hip. So from here in your stance, you can practice just rotating that hip right now. Practice turning that hip in, turning that rear foot, and turning the shoulders together, letting the arms chop. You'll notice the arms go in the opposite direction of that hip, right? All the power is coming through those hips on those roundhouse kicks. So we're going to step off the line. Let's pick up where we left off. Step off the line, anchor on the front foot, reach across that target's face, and then toss that kick through all the way around 360 degrees back to stance. Now if you don't have room to toss that kick, feel free to just bring the leg up and turn the leg over, working on getting those angles from the hips, right? It's all about the angle, that sweet science behind it. So we're going to be practicing lead roundhouse kicks, stepping off the line, toss that kick around, boom, back to stance, keep the chin tucked on that center line for balance, guard nice and high, and we're back into it. We'll practice the lead roundhouse and the rear roundhouse kick. For the lead, it's a shorter, less powerful roundhouse kick. But what we have to do is step that rear foot up into our center line, our center balance, so we have somewhere to pivot on, and we can toss that lead kick real quick. So for that one, we've got our standard roundhouse, right, from the back. And our lead roundhouse, what we're going to do is step forwards and switch. We're going to switch those feet over into southpaw for a second and then toss. Boom, same thing. Toss it through the hip all the way around 180 degrees back to stance. We can also do low roundhouse kicks. If you don't have the flexibility yet, you can aim for the calf, aim for the back of that calf, twist through, whoosh, just bring it around, pivoting on that front foot. Swap the stance for the opposite kick. Same thing, pivot around on the ball of that foot. Same thing there. Now the faster version, the lead low kick, is similar. Boom, we take that small step and we toss that kick from the hip. But I think we'll save that for a later time. Let's just put some fundamentals in there, get that jab cross going, get that workout in, and we'll work on the main 2 roundhouse kicks, which is your trail roundhouse, stepping off that line, twist through, boom, and then the lead roundhouse with the switch, stepping off the line, and it's the same thing. Toss through, but from the opposite side, keeping the guard high the whole time. Shout out to Gail McSween, thank you for being here. And make sure you got water, we're gonna get right into it. We got 3 rounds, we can get through this and put those fundamentals in there, find a way to challenge ourselves to our skill level. Remember, it's about you showing up for you, giving yourself a challenge every day. That way you can see that progress every day. So no tunes today, just the soundtrack of life. And let's get into it. Visualize that opponent, and we get that timer going. Boom, boom. Let's do this thing. Visualize that opponent. Square up with them. Square hips, square shoulders. Guard high by the brow line. Tuck the chin, fingers, thumbs, and let's step in for one. Twisting through the hips and shoulders. Drive that fist forward. Turning that fist over. Squeezing the thumb under the top two fingers at the point of impact. Rotate back and step and back. Step and back. Step and back. Small step on that front foot. Twisting through that body and working those angles to get that sweet science, right? Deliver that power with minimal effort. Twist and step. Twist and step. Keep the knees bent so it'll be easy to rotate on that center. And step in for the one. One. Exhale through the mouth on that strike. And we're going to add in the cross in just a moment. Step into the one. Bop. Follow up. Boom. With the cross straight down that center line. Chin tucked. Guard high. Let's go. 1, 2, down that center line. Notice the rotation on the ball of the foot. We're staying on that center line. We're staying balanced and punching right down that center line. Turn those fists over and drive them into the face of that visualized target. Make sure you're visualizing that enemy as an active threat, that depression dummy. Right down the center line. Hit him. And back. And back. And back. We're going to start to mix it up and work on that roundhouse kick, right? Or basic Muay Thai roundhouse kick. From your stance, from your balanced stance here, we're gonna step that front foot off the line, planting the ball of the foot on the ground. Make sure the foot's turned out, right? Opens up the hips. And then we're gonna toss that rear hip over, right across the center line. Bring yourself back around 360 degrees, back into fighting stance. Step in for the 1, 2, down that center line. Keep the knees bent for easy rotation. Tuck that chin, guard high. Down that center line, hit that target. Exhale hard on those strikes. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth. And back to stance, roundhouse, let's go. Exhale all the way through, bring yourself back around and back to center. Step into it. Step in for the 1, 2, down that line. Remember what you're fighting for. That better quality of life that you deserve. How do you know what you deserve? It's based on what you give. So keep going. Give 100% and you can guarantee yourself those results. Keep stepping in to that center line and work that roundhouse in there. Let's go. Step off the line. Open the hips. Chop through the center mass. Back around 360 degrees. Square up. 1, 2 to the head and back. 1, 2. And back. 1, 2. And back. Lead roundhouse kick. Off the line. Chop through. And back around to defensive position. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And that is the end of round 1. Catch your breath. Drink some water. Check in on you. Make sure you're doing all right. Avoid those signs of overreaching. Hydrate. In the nose, out the mouth with air, and in the mouth, down the throat with water. Shout out to Slayer Ken. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you sharing your progress and being consistent as well. We're going to get into the next round. 37 seconds. We're practicing that roundhouse kick, but we're still keeping fundamentals in there. And we're going to start talking about the switch round. So we're going to effectively throw that powerful roundhouse kick from the opposite side. And we'll probably leave the low kick out of it. We'll just stay on track with those roundhouse kicks. Did you read it? I'm not sure what that means. Today until Superhero Sunday says Luca Sunday is 2 days away. Yeah, 2 days away until Superhuman Sunday, right? If you want that low intensity class, Sundays or Wednesdays are the days to tune in. All right, let's get back on track. Visualize that opponent, visualize that target. Guard high, close fingers, tuck the thumbs. Get squared up on that line and keep that body weight moving, shifting from the front foot to the back foot. Step in for the 1, 2, down that center line. 1, 2, down that center line. Keep the guard high by the brow line, chin tucked. Shoulders rolled for defense, and keep it moving. Boom, boom. Step off that line for the lead roundhouse. Remember to reach across the face for balance. Chopping the arm in the opposite direction, but on the same plane as you're going to toss that hip over. Off the line, toss the hip all the way back around 360 degrees. Back to stance. 1, 2, bomb, 2 strikes. To the chin, to the nose. Back to stance, turning those fists over as you go, and roundhouse kick. Step off the line, drive that foot through, center mass, and back to stance. We're gonna start working that opposite leg roundhouse kick now. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to do the switch, quick switch of the feet. So just give it a quick hop. You can hop right here from orthodox stance, and everything swaps. Boom, feet swap, hand swap. And we're gonna do the same thing we did from orthodox stance, now in southpaw. Stepping off the line with that lead foot, opening up the hip, pivoting on the ball of the foot. We're gonna reach across with the opposite hand and chop it as the leg goes through. Right there, right through, all the way around, back to orthodox stance. All right, let's go. Jab cross, back to stance, roundhouse kick from orthodox, off the line, roundhouse kick, back to stance. Now we want to do the switch, so we can hit him with the roundhouse from the opposite leg. Switch the feet, chop through that center line, back to stance, square up, orthodox, go, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, fight for you, let's go. Think about your why. Why do you show up every day? What are you fighting for? And what do you want? You can guarantee yourself those results by pushing to your level. Keep going, step off that line, lead roundhouse, back to stance, square up, rear roundhouse now, switch the feet, boom, roundhouse from the opposite side. Right there, back to stance, square up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, lead roundhouse, back to stance, square up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, opposite roundhouse kick now, swap the feet, and chop through that center mass, back to stance, square up, 1, 2, hit that target, 1, 2, let's add in some defense, rear check the kick, up to the inside of the leg, off the line, roundhouse to finish it up, and that's the end of round 2. Catch your breath, drink some water. Shout out to Poo Muay Thai, thank you for being here, appreciate your support, bro. So we got 47 seconds, so we're getting into the final session. Final round, we're gonna stick with a couple of roundhouse kicks going through, work on making them smooth, work on that balance. Little tiny points of improvement, tucking the chin, keeping those hands, using those hands as counterweights when you're moving through it, making sure we roll the hip. So many small points to improve on. In this final round, we're gonna flow through it, and we're gonna add in some defensive checks. So for those checks, we're visualizing the opponent tossing a kick at us. That same roundhouse kick, right? It's coming in, and we're gonna block it with that big part of our shin. So if the kick's coming in from this side, we want to angle to that side, bring the knee up to the inside of the elbow, and block that kick. Check, check, boom. That's how we check kicks from both sides. Keep the guard high by the brow line. When you bring that knee up, you can put the hand against the head to brace it. Let that arm act as a suspension. Bringing the knee up to the inside of that elbow, boom, we check the kick, and step in for the 1, 2, here we go, visualize that target, 1, 2 down the center line, tuck the chin, 1, 2 down the center line, rotate on those feet when you're tossing the hands, remember it's all about that science, bend the knees, drive those fists down the center line, and hit that target, visualize it, visualize doing damage to that depression dummy's face. As you get stronger every day, that depression dummy gets weaker. Keep going. Let's go. Keep going. 1, 2. Back to stance. And let's check some kicks. Check that lead kick. Boom, to the inside. Back to stance. Check the rear kick. Boom. Back to stance. Keep it square. Let's toss some kicks of our own. Lead roundhouse kick. Off the line. Open those hips. Drive through. And back around. 360 degrees. Hit him with the 1, 2. Back to stance. 1, 2. Back to stance. Exhale on those strikes and put that power into it. Let's go. Moderate to your intensity level, but keep going. Every step forward counts. Keep going. Drive those fists in. Turn those knuckles over. Keep that wrist straight and exhale through it. Back to stance. Lead roundhouse kick. Back in 360 degrees. 1, 2, guard the lead kick, check, rear kick, check, boom, Back to stance. We're gonna swap for the other roundhouse now. Swap the feet, step off the line with that lead one, pivot through for that opposite roundhouse kick all the way back to orthodox stance. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and lead roundhouse kick, go. Back to stance, trail roundhouse kick, go. Back to stance, square up, 1, 2, 1, 2, check some kicks, check, and back, check the rear, check, and back, 1, 2, lead roundhouse, go. Back in, rear roundhouse, swap them. Back in, square up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can work that horizontal movement in, 1, 2, horizontal back, 1, 2, square up, visualize that opponent, and let's go. Lead roundhouse kick off the line, toss it, boom, keep the guard high on the opposite side, roll those hands, keep the rhythm, 1, 2, keep moving, 1, 2, keep going, 1, 2, guard some kicks, check, check, back to stance, lead roundhouse, back in, square up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that is the end of 3 rounds of progress and success. I hope that you guys stuck with us, and I hope that you challenge yourself to your skill level, finding room to grow and room to improve. Remember, it's not about how many minutes of exercise you did. It's not about how much you put in volume. It's about being consistent, because that consistency will grow no matter what. Even if you only train for 1 minute today, that's 1 minute ahead of where you were yesterday. So please do keep track. Please do stick to your daily goal for progress and success. And it doesn't have to be this class. It could be heavy back training time. It could be a martial arts class somewhere, or it can be this one. It's just, you just want to make it something accomplishable that you can do every day. It builds you up both mentally and physically. And the more you keep track of it, the more powerful that number will become in your life. Until next time, I'll catch you guys same exact time, same exact channel, same exact life. Sackman out. Woo!